Well, hopefully you've had a chance to hear it from the man himself, whether you got his book or whether you went to his YouTube channel and reviewed his 7 common denominators. But this video is about impact. I want to go through why his style or how it affects your impact conditions. And in my mind, there's 3 reasons. Now, the first reason is because he has a source of power. So with Jimmy's backswing, the braced position, what he does is he encourages you to load up your weight into that inside of your back foot. And that just means that your pelvis and your chest are going to move to the right or back together. So there's not going to be a sway and there's not going to be a tilt. In other words, you're going to be balanced. Now, when I've used weight transfer machines, or what we call balance plates, what we see with Jimmy Ballard's technique is much more pressure on the right leg to the ground. And what you're going to do is you're going to actually keep your flex in that right knee, and you're going to really feel some ground force there. Now in transition, you're going to be pushing off that, and that's what propels your body forward. So we see much more pressure in the right leg as we load that up, and then we see a conscious pushing off movement, and that's what moves the pelvis and the chest forward. So he has a very constant, reliable source of power. Okay, now the second reason why Jimmy Ballard's technique could improve your impact conditions is because of the face angle. Now, Jimmy's real big into this triangle. This idea is that you connect your upper arms to your torso and that you actually move that together from waist high to waist high, and you actually use punch shots. Now, although that golf club is clearly rotating toe up to toe up, that's actually square throughout the golf swing. And so we're trying to get that same feeling in the golf swing. And this can give you significant face angle control. So the face isn't opening up or closing. So very simply, you create that triangle between the forearms and the shaft of the golf club, and you maintain that going back and going through into the finish. And when you get down to the golf ball, that club face will be square. It's amazing how straight you can hit the ball over and over and over again with this simple technique. So we are not rotating the golf club with our wrists. Okay, we're not trying to hinge the wrists and then release the golf club. We're just simply neutralizing the wrists. And this drill right here, where the golf club is anchored into my belly, and then moving this direction, rotating, gives me that feeling from waist high to waist high. It really feels like the body is scoring up the golf club instead of the wrists. Now, to go along with that exercise, there's a finish drill where we simply hold the finish. We want to see the same exact position. So we still have the triangle. Toe of the golf club is up towards the air, and I still have my upper arms braced. So you can see that if I turn this direction and I face the golf club, I'm actually in the same position I started. Remember, here's the anchor drill, okay? And right here, I can unanchor it and then face the golf club, and I'm still in the same position. And I can do the same thing in my finish. Okay, so there I am right there. Here's the anchor drill right here. Now I'm anchored, and you can see this is the same position. And if I can face the golf club, you'll see that that's actually the same position I was in the beginning. So that golf club simply is not turning in your hands. It's staying square within your golf swing the entire time. And that right there will make you hit the ball extremely straight. And the third reason why you should try, or might consider using Jimmy Ballard's technique, is because it improves low point and angle of attack. So it moves the low point in front of the golf ball. Because you're pushing off of this right leg, that moves the pelvis forward. Now, Jimmy Ballard's finish is that we release the entire right side of your body up into this vertical position. That is the Jimmy Ballard finish. Okay, so it takes all the strain, all the pain out of your back, so there's no reverse C or arching in your finish. We release the entire right side. So we push off the right, and then we release the entire right side of the body. By the way, there is no conscious movement to retain the angle of the golf club or rotate the golf club. We're simply taking the club head or the shaft straight towards impact. Okay, so it's kind of like you're focused on the balance point of the golf club, not the club head moving at the ball and not your hands moving at the ball, but more the balance part of the golf club, like the shaft. We push and we release the right side into the finish. Very important here to allow your head to come up right after the shot, because if you keep your head down or back, that could probably increase the tilt movement and the extension of your back. And we actually want the whole right side to release and finish strong to the target. If you are releasing your whole right side of your body, this right hip is actually moving up and forward. And that really helps you get that low point in front of the golf ball. But it's going to stop. And when it stops, it can throw the right leg forward and you can walk right through the shot. It's not only a great exercise, but it'll tell you if you're actually doing it or not. So the walkthrough should be something that's easy to attain. It's something that's actually very natural. It's not fake. It happens as soon as you hit the golf ball. Now, for those of you giving this a try, probably the hardest thing I find with my students is getting out of this idea that you've got to keep your left arm straight or extended. So remember, when in this technique, we are trying to brace the left elbow, point it right at the hip right here, and there's going to be a bend to your left arm. So when you go back, that bend is still going to be there and you're going to feel braced. I oftentimes will give this exercise right here where I just take my right hand and put it against the bicep and tricep and hold it there, allow the left elbow to bend a little bit, and then just make this little backswing right here. That's the feeling. It'll feel like your left elbow is pointed towards the ground during the entire swing, and this arm is free to move vertically. And what's interesting about that is when I measure it on 3D, the higher or the straighter, more extended they get here, the narrower they usually get here. With Ballard's technique, it's just the opposite. We are going to allow the golf club to be narrow here, and when we push off the right and fire the whole right side of the body, the golf club actually gets longer. The whole right side gets longer, and your arms actually will straighten out right through impact. So we're really going from narrow to wide. Now, this can be a real breakthrough when the golfer finally realizes that if they go narrow here and they push off the ground and release the right side forward, they're going to have extreme power without trying to go wide this direction. And what's really cool is that it's a lot easier on the body. My backswing, literally, it feels like I'm doing this. Okay, the golf club is very balanced. Okay, it's and when I push off the golf club, it flattens out naturally. And then I release the right side, and I've got all the power I need, and I've got a neutral face coming through. Huge power in this move. So unfortunately today, when you watch YouTube videos, you see very much the opposite of what Ballard was talking about. So we see a lot of neutral or rotational pelvis movements, which requires a shift with the hips, which has nothing to do with ground force. I also see tilting. Okay, I'm seeing golfers encourage tilting this direction, and I'm seeing a lot of like straight arms into the backswing. And then I'm seeing a lot of pulling down, creating angles, and then releasing angles in the wrists. So if you see those in a video, be warned, because that is not athletic. And that's breaking the swing into small pieces that's very difficult to manage. Okay, so let's sum this up. There's 3 reasons why Ballard's technique improves impact condition, and it's probably why I won my first tournament immediately after I started implementing it. I started getting my low point right. My club face got square. I started getting consistent power. So number one, your power is consistent. You don't have power leaks. All you do is make sure that you load yourself into that right leg with a bent right leg, and then you push off of it. Okay. The harder you push, the further you're going to hit the golf ball. So that's your number one power source. Now, what you're also going to do is you're going to neutralize that wrist, okay, or both wrists. So remember, you can turn back and you should always be square. So the golf club is just not turning in your hands, neutral. And that's going to make your club face come through square and get your club face square at impact. Now, the third thing is that your low point is going to be more in front of the golf ball because you're releasing your whole right side into your finish position. And that's going to take all the strain off of your back. 3 reasons why Ballard's technique improves impact. You got to give it a try if you're having a problem with low point, face angle, or generating the same amount of power or consistent, reliable power in your golf swing. I hope that helps. Hope you give it a try and let me know.